Camera pans over a beautiful suburban neighborhood, kids playing, families smiling. Suddenly, the screen darkens, and the sound of heated voices cuts in. John and Lisa Matthews had spent over a decade saving for their dream home, working long hours, John in construction and Lisa as a schoolteacher, so their children Emma and Ben could grow up in a safe, beautiful neighborhood. When they finally moved into their quiet suburban community, managed by a homeowners association, everything seemed perfect. Tree-lined streets, kids riding bikes, families waving from their porches, and a board of neighbors who promised that the HOA's rules were meant to protect property values and keep the community harmonious. For a year, life was good, until John decided to remodel their house with rustic red wooden siding, a style that reminded him of his childhood summers in the mountains. To the Matthews, it was more than just a color, it was a piece of their identity. But just 3 days into construction, a letter arrived from the HOA demanding that they stop work immediately, declaring red was not an approved community color and threatening them with daily fines of $250. John argued that they had submitted the design months earlier and heard no objections, but the board dismissed him coldly. Rules are rules. Soon, the half-finished house stood as an eyesore, open wood exposed to the weather, rain leaking through unfinished siding. The fines piled up. First hundreds, then thousands of dollars. Lisa sat at the kitchen table with tears in her eyes, bills scattered everywhere, whispering that they could lose the house. Their children overheard the arguments and grew frightened. Little Emma even asked her mother if they were going to be homeless. At night, John would sit outside staring at the construction site, fists clenched in helpless anger. Once friendly neighbors began to gossip, some saying the Matthews were dragging down property values, others too scared of the HOA to voice support. The once welcoming community turned cold, and the family felt utterly isolated. At an HOA meeting, Lisa pleaded through tears, "We're not criminals. We just want to raise our children in peace. Please, stop these fines." But the board's president smirked and replied, "This isn't personal. It's about community standards." When John shouted back that it was their house, not the HOA's, security escorted them out. Soon after, the board threatened to place a lien on their home, a legal step that could eventually lead to foreclosure. What had begun as a dream was now a nightmare. But just as the Matthews were losing hope, a longtime neighbor, Sarah, stepped forward. She saw how wrong the situation had become and began rallying others. "Today it's them," she told neighbors, "tomorrow it could be you. For your flowers, your shutters, even your fence." Slowly, more residents realized that the HOA was abusing its power. At the next meeting, dozens of neighbors filled the room, shouting over the board's objections, "Stop harassing them. These rules are ridiculous. We want change." The pressure became unbearable. The board finally backed down, allowing the Matthews to complete their red house, waiving the fines, and even calling for new HOA elections. When the siding was finally finished, the rustic red home stood proudly at the end of the street, a symbol of resilience. The Matthews had nearly lost everything, but thanks to one neighbor's courage and a community willing to fight back, they kept their home and inspired change. Their ordeal revealed a powerful truth. HOAs were designed to protect communities, but when rules are weaponized, they can destroy lives. In the end, what truly makes a neighborhood strong isn't strict regulations or rising property values, it's compassion, unity, and the courage to stand together when injustice threatens even one family's dream.